Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really massive shift in how we talk to AI. We're going to unpack why just talking to an AI, in plain English, often doesn't work, and how we're all being nudged towards a much more powerful, more structured way of thinking to get what we actually want.
Oh, man, we have all been there. You give an AI a prompt, you're expecting some kind of brilliant response, and what you get back is, well, it's complete nonsense. It's super frustrating, right? But the reason this happens goes so much deeper than just picking the wrong words. It actually reveals a fundamental problem in how we communicate complex ideas.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with the unspoken rules of human conversation and see how they blow up when we talk to AI. Then we'll hit a paradox from ancient Greek philosophy that, you won't believe it, perfectly describes the struggle of writing a good prompt. From there, we'll dig into the real core of any problem, escape the trap of everyday language, and then finish up by drawing a really critical line in the sand for the future of AI.
So, let's start with this idea. Think of every single prompt you write as a kind of hidden contract between you and the AI. And this communicative contract, it has these very specific, unspoken rules. When we break them, the whole conversation just falls apart.
So this idea actually comes from a philosopher named Paul Grice, who came up with this brilliant concept called the Cooperative Principle. He basically argued that for any conversation to actually work, both people have to assume the other person is trying to be helpful. It's not just some nice idea. He broke it down into 4 key rules, or maxims, that, it turns out, govern all effective communication.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. These maxims are like a perfect diagnostic tool for why our AI prompts fail. If we don't give enough info, boom, we violate the rule of quantity. If we're super vague, we're violating manner. And the AI, which is just trying its best to be cooperative, is then forced to guess and fill in all the blanks. And that, right there, is where everything usually goes completely wrong.
I mean, look at this. It's a perfect example. The prompt on the left, write me an email about a delay, gives the AI almost nothing to go on. It totally breaks that rule of quantity. So, to hold up its end of the deal, the AI has to invent or, hallucinate all the missing details, and the result is useless. But the prompt on the right, that is a perfect contract. It gives the AI exactly what it needs and absolutely nothing more.
But okay, this brings up a much deeper, kind of trickier problem. What if you can't be specific? What if you don't actually know exactly what you're looking for? How in the world do you write a perfect contract for an idea that isn't even fully formed in your own head yet?
This right here is Meno's paradox. It's a puzzle from over 2,000 years ago, and believe it or not, it is the absolute core dilemma of prompt engineering. Think about it. If your prompt is perfect, totally unambiguous, then you've already done all the hard thinking to solve the problem. You don't really need the AI. But if your prompt is vague, how can you possibly know if the AI's answer is the right one?
Well, the solution, it turns out, is this constant back and forth, this iterative dialogue. You could almost call it a digital Socratic method. You start with a fuzzy idea, and the AI gives you back a flawed answer. But that mistake isn't a failure. It's actually incredibly useful. It acts like a mirror, showing you all the gaps in your own thinking. By seeing what you didn't want, you get a much, much clearer picture of what you do want. And then you can go back and refine the prompt.
So what's happening during this process? Well, this whole iterative dialogue, this Socratic back and forth, it does something incredibly important. It forces us to separate the true, essential core of our problem from all the junk and noise surrounding it.
We can break this down with a really cool concept from information theory. Every single problem has 2 kinds of complexity. First, there's the intrinsic complexity. That's the pure logical heart of the problem that you just can't simplify any further. Then there's all the accidental complexity, the boilerplate, the repetitive code, all the fluff you need to actually make that logic work on a machine.
And this table reveals AI's true strength, at least right now. An AI is an absolute master at generating that accidental complexity. It can churn out boilerplate code all day long, no problem. But it's up to us, the humans, to provide the intrinsic logic. You could say the AI can build a house, but we have to give it the architectural blueprint. And this brings us to a huge, huge point. If our job, our real value, is to communicate that pure, incompressible, intrinsic logic, is our everyday, ambiguous, natural language really the best tool for the job? Or is it actually holding us back?
The legendary computer scientist Edsger Dijkstra, well, he certainly thought so.
He argued that trying to use natural language for really complex logical tasks is just a trap of ambiguity. He believed that formal languages, like mathematics or computer code, are the only way to get true precision. They literally liberate us from the fuzziness of our own minds.
I mean, just look at them side by side. The difference is absolutely stark. Natural language is full of fluff, it's redundant, and it's ambiguous. A prompt is basically just a statistical guess that needs endless cycles of feedback. But a formal language, it's got maximum information density. It has zero ambiguity. The compiler's the final judge, that's it. It's deterministic, like a logical proof. When it comes to expressing the core of a tough problem, there is just no contest.
So this leads us to a really powerful and maybe kind of a surprising conclusion. Advanced prompt engineering is actually a self-eliminating field. It's not the destination. It's a temporary bridge. It's a learning tool that pushes all of us through that Socratic dialogue to eventually discover the superior efficiency of thinking and communicating in formal models.
But okay, let's not get too carried away here. A perfectly logical, totally formal model is completely and utterly useless if it doesn't actually connect with the messy, unpredictable real world it's supposed to be controlling.
Yeah, there's this really foundational concept from cybernetics called the good regulator theorem, and it gives us a pretty stark warning. It says that to control any system effectively, your controller has to be a model of that system. I mean, think about it. A perfect weather forecast model for the planet Mars is completely useless for predicting rain in London, right? A perfect model of the wrong system is a perfect failure.
So this means we have to draw a really sharp line in the sand. On one side, we have these symbolic, formal systems. They're perfect for worlds with structured, determined rules, like accounting or legal code. Their logic is transparent, you can check it, but they're brittle. If the world changes even a little, they break. On the other side, you've got the subsymbolic oracle. That's today's LLMs. They are brilliant at handling fuzzy, emergent patterns, like recognizing a face in a crowd. Their process is super adaptive, but it's also a complete black box. It's opaque.
So here's where we have to draw that line. For closed mathematical domains where a single error would be catastrophic, think of a billing system, we must use verifiable formal models. We just have to. But for open, fuzzier domains, like trying to interpret a medical scan, where the patterns are all statistical anyway, we can, and we probably should, rely on that adaptive oracle.
But there's a profound danger lurking in this new world, and it's a really slippery slope. The sheer ease of just asking the oracle for an answer tempts us to hand over not just the boring, repetitive work, but our core capacity for rigorous, structured, formal thought itself.
And this leaves us with one final and I think really critical question to chew on. As AI makes just getting answers easier and easier, are we at risk of outsourcing the very thinking that allows us to build, to understand, and to validate the complex logical systems that run our entire world in the first place? It really is the ultimate trade-off between convenience and competence.